Okay, well, this is going to be a quick tutorial on hatching and cross hatching and adding values. Um, but it also depends on the type of pencil you use. As you can see, there are some numbers on these pencils ranging from 6B, 4B, 2B, and B. And this is the boldness of the pencil. So the higher the number with the B, the softer the lead and the darker it marks, as compared to a 4B. It's a bit less dark, and then a 2B is less, and then a B is much less. And there's also H pencils, which are rarely used. So I like to use a 4B because that's what I'm comfortable with. And there's several ways of creating values in shadows, right? Uh, Most simple one would be hatching, right? Where you just go in one direction. With this cross hatching, which you can go in two directions. You can go crisscross or zigzag. Now, the thing about hatching and cross hatching is how it looks from a distance. You really gotta put it down, step away, and look at your objects from a distance. There's also scribbling to create shadows, and of course, stippling. If you have the patience to do stippling, well, you can do that. Alright, so to create cross hatching on three-dimensional objects is basically following the contour lines of that object you're trying to draw. In this case, I wouldn't draw lines this way and this way on this ball. I would follow the contour of the ball itself. Applying less pressure. And I will come back and do this to create some cross hatching. Now, how much space? Well, that depends on personal preference, because technically I can do this with wider lines. Right? And I would obviously step away and watch it from a distance to see how that goes. So the key is to set it down, walk away a few feet, see how it feels, and then come back and adjust accordingly. If I feel this is too loose, then I would obviously come and add some more pressure down here where I feel there's more shadow, and do some more lines in between. I can use one directional lines to create shadows, hatching. And then I also created shadow that way. My favorite way of creating shadows is a combination of several. Applying pressure on the pencil, working with both types of lines, adding some curved line, and just do a back and forth. I love cross hatching to create shadows because I feel I have out of control over the pencil, and the gaps between the shadows create this really neat look to it. There you go. And let me get it closer so you can see. So there it is. A little bit of hatching, cross hatching. Okay. And let's pull it off into a distance. There you go. And as you can see, putting some distance into it creates that cool effect. So that's what I mean by stepping away and looking at it from far, assessing it, and then come back and making proper adjustments. But that is basically cross-hatching, making values with two directional lines. And of course, you follow the contour of the object to create that effect. How much space? Well, that is depending on the size of the object. If this was a big drawing, then this would be more appropriate. But something smaller, something like this. So for example, here I have a roll of tape. Maybe I should draw this roll of tape right here. Okay, and let's see an oval for the top. And it creates this. And it creates this. And then the problem with this right now is that it's creating diffused light. But I can see that my shadow is strongest here. So I'm gonna follow this curvature of the tape instead of doing lines like this straight across. Well, that to me looks flat. So following the curvature of the tape, I would do this with my lines and then come back and do some cross hatching accordingly. Keep it spaced. Now the roll of tape is white, so the shadow is very light. And the outside is cream. It does create a bit of a shadow here. So back and forth, up and down. And then on the inside, I notice it creates more shadow over here. So I'm gonna go with hatching up and down here. Go from dark, make it go light, and then come back and a little bit of cross hatching to diffuse it a bit more. And there we go. Okay, so that is basically cross hatching techniques. I hope that helps. If not, maybe we want to watch some other different tutorials in YouTube that could help better. Have a good day.